What if Earth had rings like Saturn? Let's imagine you wake up one morning, stretch, open the curtains, and instead of the usual boring sky, bam! Giant glowing rings stretch across the heavens like a cosmic hula hoop. That's right, Earth suddenly has rings. Not some little decoration, but massive shimmering bands of rock and ice circling the planet, like we've upgraded from third rock from the sun to intergalactic eye candy. Now, before we dive into what your Instagram stories would look like with those rings in the background, let's answer the big question. Could Earth actually have rings like Saturn? Technically, yes. It's not against the laws of physics. But we'd need something big and dramatic to create them, like a moon crashing into Earth. Not ideal. So, for the sake of this video and your continued existence, let's just say the rings appeared magically, because science fiction is more fun than global extinction. So, what would these rings actually look like from Earth? Well, that depends on where you are on the planet. If you live near the equator, congratulations. You get the lamest view. From there, the rings would look like a thin glowing line stretching across the sky. Kind of like a super fancy belt. Not bad, but also kind of underwhelming. Now, if you live farther north or south, you'd get the full experience. Massive arcs of light slicing through the sky, day and night. Imagine the northern lights had a baby with a space donut. That's your new sky. At night, the rings would reflect sunlight and glow gently, making the sky never fully dark. Romantic stargazing? Ruined. Good sleep? Gone. But hey, it's worth it for the views. Next up, weather. Oh boy, those beautiful rings wouldn't just sit there looking pretty. All that debris, millions of chunks of ice and rock, would cast huge shadows on Earth. Depending on the time of day and the season, those shadows could change global temperatures. Crops might stop growing in the shadow zones, or we might get super cool-looking shadow stripes across entire cities. Imagine weather forecasts like, tomorrow, expect partly cloudy skies and a 70% chance of ring shadow at 3 p.m. Air travel, a nightmare. Pilots would have to dodge debris if they ever flew near the rings, which, by the way, would be a strict no-fly zone. Even satellites would be in trouble. Our current GPS satellites float peacefully in orbit, but if we had rings, they'd have to dodge a space blender just to survive. Suddenly, your phone can't find your location and your Uber ends up in the Pacific Ocean. Now, let's talk tourism. Oh yeah? You think people line up to see the Eiffel Tower? Please. Entire cities would be built around the best views of the rings. Billionaires would create luxury hotels just for ring sunset experience packages. Instagram would be 90%. People pretending to meditate with rings in the background. And yes, someone would definitely propose with a ring. Under the rings. Too cheesy? Absolutely. Would it still go viral? Of course. But rings wouldn't just affect people. Birds, for instance, might freak out. Migrating geese could get confused by the constant light and end up in Antarctica by mistake. No one knows how whales would react, but you can bet someone would make a documentary about it, narrated by Morgan Freeman. In the distant oceans, the great whales swim beneath the sky, forever changed. Oh, and here's the best part. Earth's rings wouldn't last forever. Over time, the debris would either crash down onto Earth in a giant fireworks show or slowly clump together to form a new moon. So either we get a second moon, cool, or we get rained on by flaming space rocks, less cool. Let's hope for the first one. And yes, eventually someone would try to surf the rings. Probably a billionaire, probably on camera. So what if Earth had rings like Saturn? Well, we'd have breathtaking skies, weird weather, disrupted technology, endless tourism, and possibly a few accidents involving flaming debris. But one thing's for sure, it would make every boring day a little more out of this world.